What if Ford brought back the SUV that made every other full-size SUV look small? The Ford Excursion disappeared from the market more than 2 decades ago, but its name has never really disappeared from the conversation. And now the idea of a 2027 Ford Excursion comeback is more interesting than ever. Ford already has a massive new Expedition, a powerful Tremor, and a growing appetite for large family and adventure vehicles. So the question is no longer whether Ford knows how to build a huge SUV. It clearly does. The real question is whether Ford could take that formula and revive the Excursion name for a new generation. Before we get too far ahead, there is one important distinction. Ford has not officially confirmed a 2027 Excursion production model. The current Ford lineup includes the 2027 Expedition, Expedition Max, Tremor, Platinum, and King Ranch, but there is no official Excursion announcement. So everything about a future Excursion has to be treated as speculation. But that doesn't mean the idea is impossible. In fact, Ford already has much of the technology and hardware it would need, and once you start looking at the current Expedition, the case for an Excursion comeback becomes surprisingly easy to imagine. The original Excursion had a very simple mission. It was enormous, it was powerful, it could carry a huge family, tow serious loads, and take on the role of a full-size truck-based SUV without trying to disguise its size. At the time, that made it unusual. Today, that same formula could make it stand out even more, because the SUV market has moved in the opposite direction. Many vehicles have become smoother, smaller, and more crossover-like. A modern Excursion could go completely the other way. From the outside, this is where the Excursion name would have the biggest psychological impact. A new model would need to look unmistakably larger than a normal 3-row SUV. The proportions would have to communicate capability before the engine is even started. A tall hood, massive grille, upright windshield, long body, wide stance, and an extended rear section would immediately separate it from ordinary family SUVs. And Ford already has a strong starting point. The current 2027 Expedition is 209.9 inches long in Platinum specification, with a width of more than 94 inches including mirrors, and a height of about 78 inches. The Expedition Max stretches even further in length and offers substantial cargo capacity behind the 3rd row. Those dimensions show that Ford is already comfortable building extremely large SUVs for the modern market. A future Excursion could simply take that idea further. Instead of looking like a stretched family SUV, it could have a visual identity closer to a luxury-duty pickup. The front could use an even more imposing grille, while the sides could carry a longer, more upright body. Massive wheels, higher ground clearance, integrated running boards, and a more squared-off rear section could give the vehicle a true heavy-duty presence. And that's important because the Excursion name means nothing if the vehicle doesn't feel massive. The original succeeded because it was unapologetically oversized. A modern version should do the same. But then we reach the powertrain. This is where Ford's current Expedition gives us a very useful clue. The 2027 Expedition is available with a 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6, producing 400 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque, while the high-output version produces 440 horsepower and 510 pound-feet. Both are paired with a 10-speed automatic. Those numbers are already serious, and they become even more interesting when you consider towing. Properly equipped, the current 2027 Expedition can tow up to 9,600 pounds, depending on configuration. The high-output engine makes up to 510 pound-feet of torque, giving Ford plenty of muscle for a large SUV that may spend its life carrying people, cargo, trailers, and recreational equipment. So imagine taking that foundation and creating a dedicated Excursion. Ford wouldn't necessarily need an entirely new engine. It could focus on durability, cooling, suspension tuning, and towing hardware designed specifically around the larger body. And that's where an excursion could become more than a big expedition. The driving experience would also need to match the name. A modern excursion shouldn't feel like a sports SUV. It shouldn't try to hide its size. The goal would be controlled power and confidence. You press the accelerator and the SUV moves forward with authority. You attach a large trailer and the powertrain feels prepared for the additional weight. You take it onto a rough road and the suspension absorbs the punishment without making the cabin feel like a work truck. And there's something else an excursion would need to get right: ride quality. A vehicle this large has the potential to feel heavy and cumbersome. Ford would need to balance the body-on-frame architecture with suspension technology that keeps the ride controlled, both when the vehicle is empty and when it is fully loaded. This is where the current Expedition shows how far modern full-size SUVs have come. Even though it is built for substantial capability, the cabin can still be configured as a premium family environment. And that brings us to the interior. A modern Excursion couldn't just be a gigantic truck with 3 rows of seats. The market has changed too much. Today, buyers expect a large SUV to feel almost like a luxury lounge. The current Expedition already offers a wide selection of premium trims, including Platinum and King Ranch, with features such as large displays, premium materials, advanced driver assistance, panoramic roof options, and available Blue Cruise technology. Ford also offers a large central display on higher-end versions and a cabin designed around long-distance comfort. A future Excursion could take this much further. Imagine 3 genuinely useful rows of seating, enormous second-row space, reclining captain's chairs, premium leather, massive infotainment screens, integrated power outlets, and storage everywhere. The third row shouldn't feel like punishment for passengers. It should feel like an actual seating area. And because the Excursion would be enormous, cargo space could become one of its biggest advantages. Think about a family leaving for a week-long trip. Suitcases, coolers, sports equipment, camping gear, strollers, and perhaps even a trailer behind the vehicle. A lot of SUVs can carry passengers. Fewer can carry passengers and everything they bring with them. That could be the real modern interpretation of the Excursion. Technology would be another major piece. A vehicle this large needs technology that makes its size easier to manage. High-resolution cameras around the vehicle would be essential. A 360-degree view could make parking less stressful. Trailer assist technology could help owners who tow regularly. Driver assistance systems could reduce fatigue on long highway journeys. And Ford already offers much of this in the Expedition. The 2027 Expedition can be equipped with Blue Cruise, Ford's hands-free highway driving system, along with Ford Co-Pilot 360 features and other technologies. The goal is not to make a huge SUV feel small, it is to make a huge SUV easier to operate. The current 2027 Expedition proves that Ford already knows how to build a modern, high-tech, full-size SUV. It offers up to 440 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque, and up to 9,600 pounds of towing when properly equipped. It can also be configured with long-body max dimensions and premium technology. The basic ingredients are already there. Ford doesn't need to reinvent the full-size SUV. It would simply need to make it more extreme, longer, larger, more capable, more specialized, and give it one of the most recognizable names Ford has ever used. But for now, we have to separate the idea from reality. There is no official 2027 Ford Excursion production announcement. Ford's current 2027 full-size SUV lineup remains centered on the Expedition, including the Expedition Max and Tremor, and Ford has not announced an Excursion return. So the Excursion you imagine in a future showroom is still just that, a possibility. But it's a possibility that makes more sense today than it did a few years ago.